What's up, guys? Let's see. Holland and Moroz were the performance of the night. Covington and Masvidal was the fight of the night. The attendance was 19,425. It was a complete sellout. That's the 11th consecutive pay-per-view sellout. Gate was 6.76 million. And this is number 7 all-time here at the arena and number 14 all-time for the UFC. John Morgan, yeah.
What's going on? Well, obviously you gave it fight of the night, so I'm assuming you were impressed by the main event. But just give us your thoughts on Colby's performance and you know what he did in this fight tonight.
Yeah, I thought it was a great fight. Obviously, Masvidal's wrestling was better than I expected it to be. His cardio was better than I expected it to be, and you know, it was a tough fight for both guys.
Yeah. The crowd obviously either loves him or hates him, but they're definitely reacting to him. I mean, do you feel at this point, do you consider him one of the biggest stars in the company?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the thing is, too, is that after a while, no matter how much you hate him, you at least got to respect him. I mean, the guy keeps winning fights, and he's a tough dude.
You've had some bad words to say about him at times over the years. What do you think about Colby?
What do you mean? What do I think about? I mean, I don't know if I've had any bad words to say about him. I said he's an asshole.
That's not a bad word.
No, he's an asshole. Does anybody disagree with that? I mean, he would probably even agree with that.
I would agree.
Yeah, no, I respect the kid. Yeah.
Do you have any concerns with his brand of promotion? I know you say bad things are said, but you know, like Jorge's whole thing was, hey man, the line was crossed. You don't talk about family. You don't talk about kids. Do you believe there is a line?
I agree with that too. It's called man code. You either have it or you don't. Yeah.
What do you see next for Colby? I mean, obviously he's 0-2 against the champ right now, but he called out Dustin Poirier. Is that a matchup that interests you in any way?
I don't know. You know, he's in a very weird situation. Having lost to Usman twice, you know, Usman's lapping everybody. I don't know. We got to see what's next and talk to Colby and see what he really wants to do. You know, if you fight Poirier, then what?
Kamaru.
There has to be some type of. You know, he has to go in some type of direction. Whether is he gonna go to 55 and fight it? You know what I mean? I don't know. We got to talk.
Well, I was going to ask you, Kamaru yesterday did a Q&A, and he was like, I kind of see myself fighting Colby again at some point. I mean, do you totally rule it out because it's 0-2, or do you still say, well, maybe it could get to there at some point?
I don't know. Listen, if he stays at 170, he keeps winning. I mean, eventually you got to give the kid a shot again.
I did want to ask you about Renato Moicano. Do you have a medical update yet? Is it too soon?
Yeah, he's the only transport tonight. He was transported, and yeah, we'll make sure that he gets triple checked and take care of him.
I think you had to step out during the end of that fight. It looked like you left cage side.
Yeah,
so did you see it? Because I was just kind of wondering what you thought. Because, man, it felt like maybe that fight could have been stopped, maybe not.
I agree. It could have been stopped a couple times, and just Moicano is one of those guys that's just so tough. It could have been stopped, and at the end of the 5th round, he started coming on, and you know, RDA was probably happy there wasn't one more round of that fight. You know what I mean? Moicano is the real deal, man. That's why we knew when we were making this fight, obviously if we could have got Islam to turn around, that would have been awesome, but until we even knew we had Islam, or thought we had Islam, Moicano was 100% the guy we wanted to go with.
I did want to ask you about Islam. Did he actually turn it? There seems to be some controversy over why he didn't get this fight.
There's no controversy. He turned the fight down.
He said no.
No.
Okay. Last thing I did want to ask you about, Bryce Mitchell. He was just here, and he said, you know, his charitable gift that he was going to give, you said, don't give it, I'll cover it. So I'm just curious kind of what your motivation was. And I don't know if there's some, I know you guys do a ton of charity already, but when guys are so connected to something like that, is there like partnerships or things that you can do? But why were you motivated to say, hey, don't spend your money, I'll spend it?
Yeah, well, the kid, you know, he's making 45 and 45 tonight. He's going to give 45 to the, and I respect that. And he said, we'll do it. We'll take care of it.
Hey, Dana, to your left. Your left. Curious what you thought of Colby striking. I mean, you know, he seemed like in a lot of the exchanges he got the better of Masvidal, and obviously Jorge is is considered the better striker. Did that impress you, what you saw from him in that
I
start?
expected that, actually. I expected that. You know, that's Colby's style. You know, he makes you worry about the takedown. I mean, he fought the exact fight that I thought he would fight tonight. He, you have to defend that takedown all night, so it sets up the striking for him.
And, that's a really tough fight for Jorge to get into because obviously the style is a complete, worse thing for him. And then he's got the champion in that division, the kind of the same thing with the wrestling. So where do you go with him? I mean, do you move him around and just, kind of cherry pick big fights for him, like looking at since he has those two big guys ahead of him?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. We knew tonight whoever won and whoever lost, what would be next and where would they go. And I don't know. We're sitting right here right now. I don't know on either one of them, even Colby who won.
So when you negotiate this new contract with him the other day, you had to have an idea of, hey, well, if he loses, we still have a 4 or 5 fight deal, whatever it was with him.
We don't think that far ahead. We signed the kid, and you never know what the hell. It's like you guys will ask me every fucking press conference, what's going to happen after this? And
That's John Morgan.
True. What's going to happen after this, and what's going to happen? I don't know. I have to see how the fight plays out. What kind of a fight is it? How did it go? And then I decide, with the team, what's going to happen next.
And I wonder about the pay-per-view. Obviously, Masvidal has been his numbers. I think he's averaging close to $1 million on pay-per-view prior to tonight. Did this one track to get to that kind of a number?
It's funny because we're talking. I mean, I just said that this is our 11th consecutive pay-per-view sell. I mean, this thing's on fire. It's just crazy. Ever since the pandemic, it's been nuts for us. And yeah, I mean, these guys. I was telling you guys how much money we were losing during COVID, COVID testing, and all the other bullshit that we had to go through, but all the pay-per-views were skewing higher than you had a guy who would normally fight and do 300,000 pay-per-view buys, and he was doing 7 or 8. And yeah, I mean the business is just kicking ass.
Well, did you have any indication that this one was going to be like that, where you had a number and that it did a lot better?
Yeah, I mean this thing outperformed the budget big time. I mean just the gate alone.
And finally, for me, do you know anything about what happened to I guess the broadcast went off for a while anyways during the fight. Do you know?
Yeah, it didn't go off for a while. It went off for a little bit on the second round. Yeah.
Dana, just one question over here. The Ringer MMA show on Spotify Green Room's been talking about this all week, and I'm wondering your thoughts on it. With all of the connections to Florida and the UFC's positive relationship with the state, why wasn't this fight done in Florida?
That's a good question. I think we owed Vegas a fight. It was the time that we had to do the fight in Vegas. We kind of lay these things out, throughout the year and decide where we think we're going to be in each month, and just landed on Vegas.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Dana, right here. Dana over here on this side.
Yep.
A couple other impressive performances. Kevin Holland got his first win at welterweight. Sergey Spivak won in less than a round. Jalen Turner, Marina Rodriguez. So what did you make of the rest of the card for all these young fighters?
Well, I was excited about this card anyways. This was a great card as far as matchups went. And, yeah, everybody looked impressive tonight.
Joanna was also back here. She was a guest fighter for Scrum. She's saying she's still eyeing a fight with Wei Lee. Is that still the fight that you're hoping to make the rematch?
Yeah, that's the fight that makes sense.
Is there any headway on when that fight could happen? It seemed like she was just waiting for a date at this point.
Do we know the date on that one? Yeah, no. I was hoping he had something I didn't. He doesn't.
She was also talking about fighting at Allegiant Stadium and said that she might know something we don't. Do you know what she's talking about?
I do not.
Hamzat was also here. Did you guys talk about anything else besides confirming his fight with Gilbert?
No, that's it. Yeah, we got that done. It's locked in, and that's a fun card.
And finally, Darren Till was also here with him. Have you spoken with him about his return? Or
No, I haven't
still
seen
recovering?
Darren. I haven't seen Darren since he's been here. I knew that he was here with Hamzat, but I haven't seen him.
What do you make of that friendship? It seems like they're inseparable.
Yeah, no, I like it. Yeah.
Hey, Dana.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, Khabib Nurmagomedov inducted into the Hall of Fame tonight. Usually doesn't show much emotion. What was his reaction when he came over there and graced him?
He was pissed off tonight. I don't know what happened to Khabib tonight. I kept telling him, what pissed you off tonight?
I think it was Tim.
Maybe.
Tim Elliott was holding.
Yeah. I think that might be it, too.
Greg Hardy's now lost 3 in a row, and they were all finishes. Wondering what your thoughts are on him and what his future is with the UFC.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll get in the room on Tuesday and figure that out.
Given the results of the main event, going into it, are you looking at Chimaev and Burns as the #1 contender fight in the welterweight division?
Makes sense.
Did Marina Rodriguez do enough tonight to be a #1 contender for the winner of Carla Esparza and Rose Namajunas?
Makes sense.
And
Making a lot of sense, Schmo.
Okay, then lastly, Nate Diaz. What's the likelihood he gets a new contract before we see him entering the octagon again?
The likelihood that Nate Diaz gets a new contract? Very good.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Dana, right here.
Yep.
Dana, I was wondering just your thoughts on Marina Moreau's big win. Obviously, coming from the Ukraine, she had a lot of emotions out there. The crowd really responded to her. I just wanted your thoughts outside of the fact that she got a bonus.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you want me to answer that question. I agree with you. It was an awesome performance, an awesome speech, and yeah.
This month, you guys are going to be traveling for fight nights for the first time since the pandemic, so I'm assuming it's very exciting. Could you just talk a little bit about what's the forecast look like on doing more traveling outside of the numbered events this year?
Yeah, well, as things start to open up and these different states that were tough to do business in make it much easier to do business in, we'll start going to, there's a lot of places to hit now. We just had to wait till all this goofy shit was over. It looks like it's getting over, so we're ready to roll.
Will there be more dates coming up in April, or is that still being decided?
Yeah, we don't have anything figured out yet, but we will. The other problem is as these states start to open up, you got all these different events that haven't happened, and there's still people that haven't put on an event since the pandemic, concerts and bands and things like that, and so a lot of these arenas are going to be packed, probably the first year and a half. So we'll see what we can figure out and what we can get done.
Thank you.
Dana down here. What do you do now with Jorge Masvidal that he's right here? What do you do now with Jorge Masvidal now that he's lost 3 of his last 3 fights? I know you guys have just given him a new lucrative deal, but matchmaking-wise, what do you think makes the most sense for him at this juncture?
I don't know. That was what Kevin just asked me. I don't know. We'll figure out what's next for him. The rankings will come out on Tuesday, and we'll do something that makes sense.
And I'm not sure if you said, if you heard, Tom Aspinall recently said that you guys have told him that you've got potential replacements for Alexander Volkov. Now, I know you alluded to that the other day, but is that the case?
I hope not, but we'll figure it out if it does. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see how this thing plays out, too. We're trying to get him out of there early, and he didn't want to leave early, so.
And hypothetically, if Volkov isn't allowed entry into the UK, would you keep that matchup together at all, or would you just?
No, if he can't get into the country, then we'll make another one for Tom. He's from the UK, so we would find him another opponent.
Regardless, then.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Dana, just in front of you. Was that the last fight on Greg Hardy's contract?
Was that the last fight on Greg Hardy's contract?
Yeah.
Does anybody know the answer to that question? Nobody knows.
Okay. And also I wanted to touch on, do you think the narrative of the Dos Anjos Moicano fight changes a lot, given, it was close to being stopped in the 4th round, then Moicano comes out and has a great 5th round. Do you think it changes like a lot of people's mind, given that Moicano had such a good last round?
Changes their mind as far as what?
Obviously entering the 4th round, he was getting beat up quite a lot,
right.
And then he comes out in the 5th and, what we were
saying earlier, I think it was John Morgan, was that, I think a lot of people figured that fight should have been stopped earlier, right? Then he comes out in the 5th round. It's like, it's one of the, we've said this a million times in the fight business, a guy who's too tough for his own good kind of thing, if the ref doesn't stop the fight. Moicano was that guy. But that's why we made this fight. We made this fight with Moicano because he's a stud. He's literally a stud. I mean, the guy's a badass. That's why we made this fight.
And I just wanted to get your thoughts on the judging tonight. There was a few split decisions. Could have gone either way. I think the Nikolai fight at Kennedy, your Tim Elliott fight, obviously, I think that's why Khabib was a bit angry. Do you think anything wrong with the decisions?
No, I didn't. Nothing stood out to me like, holy shit, this is crazy.
And whilst we're on Khabib, obviously Umar, he's struggled to get a fight. He's pulled out of a few fights, but a really good win tonight. How far do you think he can go in the UFC?
Who'd you say?
Umar, Khabib's cousin.
Yeah. What about him?
How far do you think he can go in that division?
I don't know. That remains to be seen. As you start to work your way up the ladder here, it just gets nastier and nastier. So we'll see.
And just one more from me. Kevin Holland, had a great welterweight debut. Just your thoughts on his win.
Yeah, listen, I think I've told you guys a million times I love that kid. I have a really good relationship with him, and I like him a lot. And I'm happy to see him win.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the last fight in his deal. Look, check you out. Hi.
Hey, yeah, we got a few questions. The first one is that Colby Covington called out on Dustin Poirier in the fight, saying that he wants to match up with him next time. So, do you think that's going to happen in any near future?
I don't know. We were just talking about that too. We said that he's in a really tricky situation right now. Does he go to 55? Does he move up to 85? Does he keep knocking off guys at 170? And then I eventually say, okay, he's ready for a title again. I don't know. It's a weird spot for both of those guys to be in, no matter who would have won. But we'll see.
Okay. This question is, today, Yan Xiaonan and Rodriguez can have a pretty close fight. And what do you think about the split decision?
What was the question? Did I think it was a split decision?
Yeah, it was. I know it was Rodriguez.
Yeah, I didn't. Like I said, nothing stood out to me tonight in the judging that I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. When the judges, when I think that the judges blow it, I'm usually it stands out, and I would have, yeah.
Makes sense. Last question is, so Joanna, she has been calling out John Whaley for a rematch. Do you think that's going to happen, or do you think John Whaley's next opponent most likely will be someone else?
Whaley and Joanna? Yeah, probably Joanna.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank
Hey
you.
Dana, how you doing, mate?
Hey.
I never got to follow up with you after 270, but I just wanted to wonder, how did the NFTs go? Was it a successful campaign?
The NFTs? Yeah, the NFTs killed it. Yeah. Thank you. That was an easy one. You guys done with me? Have a great night. I appreciate it.